Chapter 601 3000 Blood Flags. There are 3,000 bloody battle flags in total. Every bloody battle flag is a top-quality main artifact. Put together, it is a supreme artifact. At the same time, it corresponds to the 3,000 layers of space of the Tower of Eternity. It can be said that this complete set of war flag artifacts was specially created to target the Tower of Eternity. Its only function is to seal the power of Tower of Eternity. It has no offensive power. The power is weaker than ordinary main artifacts. But the power used to seal the Tower of Eternity is unmatched by any supreme artifact. As for its creation time, it was after the Lord of Holy Light left the Lord's realm of God. Back then, the Lord of Holy Light suddenly stripped off his divine personality and divinity and disappeared into the God realm of the Lord. In order to find the Lord of Holy Light, the angel family thought of many ways. One of them is to seize the Tower of Eternity from the Titan clan. Call upon the Lord of Holy Light with the power of a super artifact. At that time, Astia, Victoria, and Quinliza, the 3 18-winged archangels, had not yet fallen. With the help of Angelia and others, Astia consumed countless rare artifacts in the universe and finally created this bloody battle flag suit. Among them, there are even the corpses of many demon lords and even a supreme demon ancestor. But I don't know why in the end. As a result, shortly after the angel clan handed over the blood flag set to the dark goddess Sylvia, Astia and others led a large number of high-ranking angels into the abyss of corruption. This drastic change also caused the plan to capture the Tower of Eternity to be temporarily shelved. Of course, none of this matters. After all, this is past history. Now, the plan to seize the Tower of Eternity is also officially implemented in the hands of the dark goddess Sylvia. Blood flag set has been refined by the dark goddess Sylvia for tens of millions of years, and its power is much more powerful than when Astia gave it to her. Moreover, she also became the owner of the blood flag set. She no longer needs the divine command of control that Astia gave her originally. She can now perfectly control this special supreme artifact with her own strength. She is now. All you need to do is insert these 3,000 bloody battle flags into the 3,000 layers of the Tower of Eternity. The power of this super artifact will be completely sealed. Although it was temporary, it was enough for her to take the Tower of Eternity out of the Titan God realm. Just at this time, an extremely terrifying force was crushing towards the dark goddess Sylvia. At the same time, all the dimensional worlds in this layer of space collapsed in an instant, turning into a dark and void world without any light. And Sylvia stands at the center of this void world. Surrounded by vast divine power, countless fragments of time and space, and the power of countless laws. People were coming from all directions to the dark goddess Sylvia. This is a collection of power that erupts when countless dimensional worlds collapse. Coupled with the increase in that terrible power, its lethality is powerful enough to crush a peak-level supreme god into nothingness in an instant. Obviously, this is an attack from Tower of Eternity. The Titan god King Clovis once said that Tower of Eternity, as a super artifact, has its own intelligence. It is spiritual and wise. Although it is an artifact, it is basically no different from a real living being. It controls all layers of the Tower of Eternity and monitors everyone who enters the Tower of Eternity. From the dark goddess Sylvia entering the Tower of Eternity to taking out the 3,000 blood-red battle flags. It watched the whole process. Initially, it did not doubt Sylvia. Because the Titan god King Clovis told it that the 4 evil supreme gods, including the dark goddess Sylvia, have concluded an alliance with the Titan family and established a law for the battlefield of all realms. The oath witnessed by the spirit. Once betrayed, the supreme god will also die. Since the Titan god King Clovis said so, it naturally has nothing to worry about. However, when the dark goddess Sylvia took out the 3,000 bloody battle flags, it instantly realized something was wrong. The reason is simple. It can be clearly perceived. Each of those battle flags can suppress part of its power. Once combined and formed into a continuous formation, it is enough to completely seal its power in a short period of time. It doesn't understand why a majestic and supreme god would rather be betrayed by the oath to seal it. This dark goddess is not even afraid of death. However, it understands one thing, that is, the stupid Titan King Clovis has led the wolf into the house. But it didn't have time to beat up the Titan King Clovis. It didn't even dare to hesitate. In the first moment, it disintegrated all the dimensional spaces on this level and used a power beyond the level of the Supreme God to suppress Sylvia. However, what scares it is, its power was actually resisted by those 3,000 bloody battle flags. Chapter 602 Damn it! Who sent you here? Yes, all power is isolated from those 3,000 bloody battle flags. Its power to disintegrate the world in countless dimensional spaces, as well as its own terrifying power, are all blocked by 3,000 bloody battle flags, making it unable to suppress the dark goddess Sylvia in the middle. The Tower of Eternity is its home base. Here, it can be said to be invincible. Even the Titan god King Clovis is no match for its power. It can even suppress multiple supreme gods entering its body at the same time. When he was in the depths of the void, the Titan god King Clovis regarded the Tower of Eternity as his support. As long as he was sure that the Lord of Holy Light did not possess the power of his peak period, he would borrow the Tower of Eternity to suppress it. The angel family and all the supreme gods of the Holy and Light camp. You know, the angel clan has 7 18-winged archangels who stand at the top of the universe. The strength of every 18-winged archangel is no weaker than that of the Titan King Clovis. Even more powerful, the Holy and Light camp also has 14 supreme goddesses. Even in the face of such a terrifying lineup, the Titan god King Clovis is confident that through the Tower of Eternity he can suppress all these 18-winged archangels and the supreme goddess. It can be seen from this. How terrifying is the power of the Tower of Eternity. However, this terrifying super artifact, after being used personally, was unable to break through the defense of the 3,000 bloody battle flags and suppress the dark goddess Sylvia. This is somewhat incredible. Even the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity himself could not believe it. This is a conspiracy specifically against me. The Tower of Eternity was very smart and thought of the key points in an instant. It has every reason to believe that no matter who or what force is behind the dark goddess Sylvia, they have been planning on it for a long time. After all, it is difficult to create such a special set of supreme artifacts specifically for it. Moreover, ordinary divine forces do not have such a background. Just when the mind of the Tower of Eternity was thinking wildly, a blood-red light suddenly pierced the void and disappeared. At the same time, the Tower of Eternity sensed that its first space world was sealed by a bloody battle flag. Correspondingly, its power was also weakened. Immediately afterwards, more blood-red rays of light penetrated into the void one after another, sealing the space world of the Tower of Eternity layer after layer. Just a few moments below the Tower of Eternity, there are more than 100 levels of space world sealed by those bloody battle flags. At the same time, the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity also felt that its original power was plummeting. It thought about stopping it, and took action on it. However, it cannot destroy those bloody battle flags at all. She couldn't even suppress the dark goddess Sylvia who was riding the bloody battle flag. One can only watch helplessly as those bloody battle flags are controlled by the dark goddess Sylvia, sealing its space world layer by layer. This is a very powerless feeling. Ever since it was made into a super artifact and awakened its spiritual wisdom, it has never felt like this before. It's so humiliating and so infuriating. Damn it. Who sent you here? Who planned this conspiracy? In the dark and empty space world, the voice of the Tower of Eternity, filled with endless anger, resounded, shaking the entire space world. The scene was terrifying, as if the will of Tao was angry. However, the dark goddess Sylvia ignored it at all. He concentrated on controlling the remaining bloody battle flags, sealing the Tower of Eternity layer by layer. Because there is not much time left for her, she must seal the Tower of Eternity as quickly as possible and then take it out of the Titan God realm. As long as she leaves the Titan God realm, her mission will be completed. The ignorance of the dark goddess Sylvia also made the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity even more angry. But at the same time, there was fear growing in its heart. The reason is simple. Every time Sylvia seals a layer of the space world, not only will its power be weakened, but it will also completely lose contact with that layer of space. It's like a normal person, whose hands and feet are still intact but unable to control them. This feeling is very scary even for a weapon spirit. However, no matter how angry and resistant it was, there was nothing it could do against the dark goddess Sylvia, who was protected by the bloody battle flag. It has urgently contacted the Titan god King Clovis. I hope this Titan King, who is stupid enough to lure a wolf into his house, can find a way to deal with the dark goddess. If not, if it is sealed at this speed, its power will be completely sealed away in a few minutes at most. By then, the Tower of Eternity will also fall into the hands of the dark goddess Sylvia. Who knows what this dark goddess will do to its body? If it is thrown into the crack in the boundary zone of the universe, even if it breaks the seal later, it will be very difficult to return to this universe. Chapter 603. You are not qualified at all. The top of the sacred mountain. The Titan King Clovis had just returned not long ago. He planned to take advantage of the time now to fully understand the origin of the laws he got from the Tower of Eternity. Have to admit, what the Poison King said just now really stimulated him. What does it mean that as long as he works harder, it is possible to rival Angelia, the 18-winged archangel from the era of the Holy Demon War? He is the most powerful and supreme god on the battlefield of all realms, His Majesty the God King of the Titan clan, with countless subordinate gods and countless followers. In the eyes of the rulers of these major gods, is this his position? How is this possible? Even if he can't catch up with the Lord of Holy Light, he can't even compare with the 18-winged archangels of the Angel clan. Therefore, he must work hard. One day, he will be stronger than Angelia. Better than Christina, who killed his old father. However, just when the Titan god King Clovis had just calmed down, an idea suddenly appeared in his mind. Before Clovis could react, he was scolded in full. His words not only revealed endless anger, but also did not take him as the Titan King in his eyes at all, nor did he give him any face. Bertram, are you crazy? The Titan King Clovis was also angry. Bartram is the real name given to himself by the wisdom of Tower of Eternity. In the civilized language of the ancient Titans, it means hero and guardian. But in Clovis's view, even if the Tower of Eternity is a guardian artifact passed down to the Titan clan by the Titan god, it has a transcendent status in the Titan clan and even in the entire ancient pantheon of gods. However, that cannot be so rude to him, the Titan King. Once the news spread, how could he control the Titan god realm? How to command the entire ancient pantheon of gods? You must give me a reasonable explanation. A reasonable explanation. The wisdom of the Tower of Eternity said angrily, "You stupid Titan, you actually introduced enemies and conspirators into my body. Now, she is sealing my body, but I have nothing to do with her. If you don't find a way to solve this problem, I will soon no longer belong to your Titan clan." What? Titan god King Clovis stood up from the throne of the God King in shock. What nonsense are you talking about? This is the Titan god realm, the headquarters of my Titan clan. How could there be enemies? The wisdom of the Tower of Eternity said angrily, "That's enough. Don't continue to show off your poor pig IQ in front of me. The enemy is the dark goddess Sylvia. She has a set of extremely special sealed artifacts in her hands, specifically targeting me. The origin of. Now, I have more than 300 levels of space world sealed by her. Once all my worlds are sealed by her, my body will completely fall into her hands." Hear these words. Titan god King Clovis was so shocked that his expression froze. When he came to his senses, he felt that his hair was numb. He didn't bother to figure out who was behind the dark goddess Sylvia, and he didn't even have time to get angry and denounce Sylvia for betraying him. What he feels now is that he is full of fear and anxiety. He is scared. The whole person felt like falling into an ice cellar. Because the Tower of Eternity is his only reliance against the Angel clan and the Holy and Light camp. It is also his strongest trump card that dominates the universe. Once lost, no matter whether the Lord of Holy Light has the power at his peak or not, he will not be able to defeat the Angel clan and the Holy and Light camp. Especially the Angel family. The power of war is terrifyingly powerful. Even the Void Demon clan that swept across the universe was killed by the Angel clan's army until it collapsed. Not to mention his ancient divine system camp. To put it bluntly, even if he integrates all the power in the battlefield of all realms, there is a high chance that he will not be a match for the Angel clan. It was purely the Tower of Eternity that gave him the courage to fight against the Angel clan. Without the Tower of Eternity to support him, he would not even be able to leave the gate of the Titan god realm. The Titan god King Clovis did not dare to hesitate and said quickly, "I will immediately summon all the supreme gods in the god realm to go and deal with the dark goddess." "Still waiting for you," the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity said. "I have summoned them, but one problem is that my bottom space world has been sealed for more than 300 levels, and they cannot enter now." Clovis asked, "Is there a way to teleport them directly to the layer of space where the dark goddess is?" "Have," the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity said. "If you can become the master of the Tower of Eternity, you can do this." Clovis was overjoyed and said, "Then what are you waiting for? Let me be your master." The Tower of Eternity replied wisely, "What are you thinking about? You are not qualified at all." Quote question mark question mark question mark question mark quote. Clovis turned green with anger. After being silent for a long time, he said, In that case, let's work together to imprison the Tower of Eternity and not give the Dark Goddess a chance to escape from the God realm. When you break the seal, it will be her death. Hearing this, the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity said, Clovis, you finally gave me some wise advice. Titan King Clovis was not angry. Now he just wants to kill the Dark Goddess Sylvia. Bertram, you don't have to worry at all. Even if you can't break the seal in a short time, the Dark Goddess Sylvia will definitely die. As long as we delay for a while and wait until the backlash of the Oath of the Spirit of Law in the battlefield of the world comes, Sylvia will have no choice but to die. The power of the Spirit of World Law in the battlefield of all realms cannot be competed by the supreme gods. Sylvia dares to betray me and the Covenant, which is tantamount to digging her own grave. Chapter 604 Storm Titan King. A moment. The Titan god King Clovis returned to the Tower of Eternity. The other 8 supreme gods of the Titan god realm have also gathered together, and have used the supreme laws and supreme divine power to imprison the Tower of Eternity. Saw this scene. The Titan god King Clovis breathed a complete sigh of relief. He believed that with the joint seal of the 8 supreme gods, even if the Dark Goddess Sylvia really obtained the Tower of Eternity, there would be no way to break through the seal and escape from the Titan god realm. Unless the Dark Goddess Sylvia has other helpers. Thinking of this, the Titan god King Clovis could not help but scan the 8 supreme gods present one by one with a scrutinizing gaze. Among them, 3 are Thunder Titans and 3 are Storm Titans. And 2 giants. These 8 supreme gods are the core of the Titan god realm and are also guardian-like existences. But after experiencing the betrayal of the cursed goddess Claytel and being personally betrayed by the dark goddess Sylvia, he now feels distrustful of everyone. Even if these 8 supreme gods are truly our own. Clovis, this is what you did. At this time, a supreme god with a height of more than 100,000 meters, with countless purple thunders wrapped around his body, and storms raging around him came over. The ground shook with every step he took. I have told you a long time ago that you cannot trust the supreme gods of these evil camps. These guys are black from the inside out, including their souls. In the end, you still insisted on going your own way, and even sent the enemy into the Tower of Eternity yourself. If anything happens to the Tower of Eternity, you will be the sinner of our entire Titan clan. At the same time, other supreme gods present also set their sights on the Titan King Clovis. All with dissatisfaction. They were not dissatisfied with the Titan god King Clovis for doubting them, but they were dissatisfied with Clovis for bringing the supreme god of the evil god alliance into the Titan god realm. If nothing like this happens, how could the dark goddess Sylvia enter the Tower of Eternity? It can be said that this kind of thing happened entirely because of the Titan god King Clovis. Enough. Titan King Clovis roared angrily. He acted angry. Because these guys are all hindsight. Although he advocated winning over the alliance of evil gods, none of these guys stood up to stop it, or expressed different opinions. Now if something goes wrong, blame him. It's really hateful. Especially the king of the Storm Titans, who publicly defied his majesty as the king of Titans and challenged his authority. Is this someone who wants to rebel immediately and ascend to his throne as the Titan king? It's not impossible. Looking at the entire Titan clan, only the king of the Storm Titan, who rules the Storm Titan clan, has the courage to covet his throne as the God King. At least that's what Clovis thinks. In fact, as the Storm Titan clan became increasingly powerful, the Titan God King Clovis also guarded against the King of Storm Titans. He vigorously develops and cultivates the Titan clan. He claims to be favoring the believer race and expanding the Titan clan's influence and belief territory in the universe. In fact, he is indirectly suppressing the Storm Titan clan. Because most of the beliefs of the Giant clan are in the hands of their Thunder Titan clan. What's more, there are 2 supreme gods in the Giant clan. Drawing them over will make it even more difficult for the Storm Titans to stand up under his hands. The Titan god King Clovis looked at the Storm Titan king coldly and said, Bradley, you don't need to discipline me for what I do. It was indeed me who sent the Dark Goddess into the Tower of Eternity. Now that she has done something like this, I will naturally solve it myself and give an explanation to my tribe. Bradley, the king of Storm Titans, said expressionlessly, I don't care whether you explain it or not. I just hope there won't be any accidents in the Tower of Eternity. If the Tower of Eternity is taken away by the Dark Goddess, or even taken out of the Titan God realm. Impossible, Titan God King Clovis said coldly. Without if, I will never let this happen. Bradley, king of the Storm Titans, sneered and said, This is best, otherwise if you lose the Tower of Eternity, you may not have the shame to continue sitting on the throne of the God King. I knew it. Titan god King Clovis growled secretly. Sure enough, as he suspected, the Storm Titan King Bradley has always coveted his throne as the God King, and his desire to rule the Titan God realm has never changed. However, he would never give Bradley, the Storm Titan King, a chance. Including this incident, with him personally in charge, and so many supreme gods joining forces to suppress it. The Titan god King Clovis believed that even if the dark goddess Sylvia had 24 wings, it would be absolutely impossible to escape from the Titan god realm with the Tower of Eternity. The ending that best meets Clovis' expectations is: before the dark goddess Sylvia completely sealed the Tower of Eternity, the backlash of the oath from the Spirit of Law in the battlefield of all realms had already arrived, and then killed Sylvia. This is the best result. Chapter 605 Fox, I need you to leave here immediately. Just at this time, a figure suddenly appeared near the Tower of Eternity. Seeing this figure, the Titan god King Clovis and the Storm Titan King Bradley instantly retracted their hostile eyes. They looked at this figure as if examining it. The other supreme gods of Titans and giants present all stared at the visitor. This figure is also a supreme god. Moreover, his divine power has reached the level of a supreme god, and his aura is more powerful than that of the dark goddess Sylvia. He is the god of the sky who has parted ways with the natural pantheon. Like several of the supreme gods of the evil god alliance, the god of the sky also entered the Titan god realm, and came in earlier than them. Original. The god of the sky came here this time because he wanted to enter the Tower of Eternity and understand the mystery of the origin of the law. This was the promise given to him by the Titan King Clovis. It was also his biggest gain from turning his back on the goddess of nature and elves. As a result, he actually saw the supreme gods of the Titan god realm using their supreme divine power to seal and imprison the Tower of Eternity. What's happening here? Your Majesty Clovis, what happened? The sky god looked confused and puzzled. Titan god King Clovis looked at him with a scrutinizing expression on his face, with a hint of distrust in his tone. Fix, what are you doing here? Of course, enter the Tower of Eternity to participate in the secrets of the law. Sky god Fox said. Your Majesty Clovis, this is what you promised. As long as I am ready, I can enter the Tower of Eternity at any time. At any time, the Storm Titan King sneered. Then he looked at the Titan god King Clovis with a slightly angry look. You must know that the strong men of their Storm Titan clan do not have the right to enter the Tower of Eternity for retreat at any time. Although the sky god Fox is the supreme god, he is still an outsider. The treatment he received was actually better than that of the Storm Titans. This made Bradley, the ruler of the Storm Titan clan, very angry. Although he had always known that the Titan god King Clovis was trying to suppress the Storm Titan clan, such unfair treatment still made him feel very uncomfortable. Especially, once this information gets out. The Storm Titans under his command are definitely going to cause trouble. They might even assemble and instigate him to rebel against the Titan god King Clovis. After all, it was the Thunder Titan that had always ruled the Titan clan and the forces of the ancient divine system. Countless years have passed, and it's their turn for the Storm Titans. I didn't know that His Majesty, the God King of our Titan clan, would be so generous and allow outsiders to enter and exit our clan's inherited clan artifacts. Hearing this, the God of the Sky frowned immediately. What is an outsider? Although he joined the camp of the ancient gods, strictly speaking, he joined the Titan god King Clovis and the entire Titan clan. The reason why he cannot directly join the Titan camp is simply because he does not have the identity of a Titan or a giant. Will the great His Highness Clovis also go back on his word? Before, he still addressed the Titan god King Clovis as, Your Majesty. Now it becomes, Your Highness, directly, showing obvious dissatisfaction. The Titan god King Clovis did not want the sky god Fox to misunderstand, so he said, Don't take Bradley's words seriously. It's because there is something wrong with the Tower of Eternity, and you can't go in for the time being. What went wrong? Sky god Fox asked quickly. The Titan god King Clovis said with full hatred, The dark goddess Sylvia is a spy. She betrayed me and the alliance of evil gods. At this time, she is trying to take away the Tower of Eternity. Fox, in order to avoid unnecessary misunderstandings, I need you to stay away from this place. I will let you know after I deal with the dark goddess Sylvia. Take away the Tower of Ion. Sky god Fox was stunned for a moment. He parted ways with the supreme goddesses of the natural god system just to enter the Tower of Eternity to practice, hoping to break through himself and gain more powerful divine power. And he also knows a piece of information. That is, Tower of Eternity, has always been in a state of ownerlessness. Because from ancient times to the present, there has never been a strong man in the Titan clan who can master the 3,000 laws and the 1,000 supreme laws, so that he cannot truly control the Tower of Eternity. If he could do it, can he become the master of the Tower of Eternity as a foreigner? He wanted to give it a try. As a result, what did he hear? The dark goddess Sylvia is actually plotting to seize the Tower of Eternity. This is a joke. If Sylvia really succeeded, wouldn't his work have been in vain? Moreover, it has offended the natural gods, and may even be hostile to the sacred and light camps. This loss is too great. Fox, I need you to get out of here right now. At this time, the Titan god King Clovis said again. The tone was much stiffer than before. Hearing this, the sky god Fox suddenly darkened his face, then turned around and left. He did not dare to stay for a long time, because if he insisted on staying, he had no doubt that he would be besieged by the Titan god King Clovis and other supreme powerhouses. At that time, he was still a spy if not a spy. Damn, why did this happen? If I had known this would happen, I would have. No, not necessarily. With Clovis and the others suppressing the Tower of Eternity, there is a high chance that the Dark Goddess will not succeed. The Sky God silently prayed that the Dark Goddess plan would fail. Otherwise, he wouldn't even be able to cry. Chapter 606. Follow the Lord of Holy Light and you will have a brighter future. Interior of the Tower of Ion. In the dark and void world of space. An illusory figure as tall as a sacred mountain appeared in front of the Dark Goddess Sylvia. This figure is the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity. It took the form of an ancient titan. The size of the ancient titan group is also very large. The 12 most powerful ancient titans among them are called the 12 titans. They created the glorious era of the ancient titans, and at the same time created countless extraordinary intelligent races such as the Thunder Titans and Dragons in later generations. Sylvia, stop it. The outside has been surrounded by a group of supreme gods from the Titan god realm. Even if you can successfully seal my body, you still can't take me out of the Titan god realm. Having said this, the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity made another promise to the dark goddess Sylvia. As long as you give up now, I promise not to let Clovis and the others hurt you. You can escape from the Titan god realm intact. What you said makes no sense. The goddess of darkness, Sylvia, controlled the bloody battle flag to seal the various space worlds of the Tower of Eternity, while saying, I have been waiting for this moment for tens of millions of years. This is my destiny. The wisdom of the Tower of Eternity said in a low voice, I believe that this is definitely not the plan of the Lord of Holy Light. The Lord of Holy Light stands at the top of the universe, looking down at the ages, and he disdains to do such a thing. It has speculated that the force behind the dark goddess Sylvia must be the angel family. After all, looking at the entire battlefield of all realms, apart from the angel clan, there is probably no race or divine force that dares to take advantage of it. The intimidating power of the Titan clan is not something to be boasted about. Only the angel clan can ignore the powerful Titan clan. One more thing. The goddess of darkness and the goddess of light are biological sisters. And the goddess of light, Annabelle, is the supreme goddess of the sacred and light camp. Therefore, the dark goddess has every reason to be related to the angel clan. It's even possible. From beginning to end, the dark goddess's heart is toward holiness and light. The struggle and breakup between her and the goddess of light, Annabelle, was also deliberately made for others to see. Just waiting for an opportunity to explode. No, didn't the stupid Titan King Clovis get deceived? The dark goddess Sylvia said, the great Lord of Holy Light will naturally not covet your body. It is we who want to capture you and dedicate you to the Lord of Holy Light. As expected, the wisdom of Ion looked as I expected. Even for it as a super artifact, the Lord of Holy Light is still a great being. If the Lord of Holy Light had any idea about it, he would have snatched it away from the Titan God realm without any effort as early as the ancient times of the Holy Demon War. With the strength of the Titan clan, there is no way to stop it. Single quote. It's useless for the Titan god King Clovis to cry and complain. Therefore, all these conspiracies and plans are all made by the Angel clan and the Holy and Light camps themselves. At this time, the dark goddess Sylvia suddenly said, you have completely buried your supreme identity as a super artifact by staying in the Titan god realm. There is no one in the Titan family who can control your body. But, the great Lord of Holy Light can. It is said that people go to higher places and water flows to lower places. You have sheltered the Titans for so many years, and you have already settled your relationship with the Titans who built you. It's time for you to think about yourself and find a suitable master for you. Follow the Lord of Holy Light, and you will have a brighter future. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. The wisdom of the Tower of Eternity looked at the dark goddess Sylvia in astonishment. It didn't expect that at this time, the dark goddess would actually persuade it to find another enlightened master. Although what the dark goddess said makes sense. Because this is indeed the case. If it continues to protect the Titan God realm, it may be like this for the rest of its life. But if it can become an artifact of the Lord of Holy Light, then it may have the opportunity to reach a higher level. After all, the Lord of Holy Light is much higher level than the Titan King Clovis. However, it could only think about the proposal of the dark goddess Sylvia in its heart. The reason is simple. Within its body, there are restrictions placed by the Titans. The purpose is to enable it to wholeheartedly protect the Titan clan for future generations. Once it turns its back on the Titans, the restriction will destroy its spirituality. By then, it will be completely wiped out. The Tower of Eternity will continue to guard the Titan God realm. Countless years later, there may be a new spirituality born from the Tower of Eternity, but the spirituality at that time will no longer be it. Therefore, it is impossible for water to move higher. Unless someone can help it. It makes no sense to say this now. The wisdom of the Tower of Eternity looked at the dark goddess and said, "My intuition tells me that the backlash from the spirit of the laws of the battlefield of the world will come soon. By then, you will definitely die. Your only way to survive is to voluntarily give up sealing my body. At that time, I will consider helping you resist the backlash of the oath." Unnecessary. The goddess of darkness has an indifferent expression and a determined attitude. From the moment she embarked on her mission, she was ready to die. At this time, she stopped talking nonsense to the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity and accelerated the sealing process. Chapter 607. A beautiful scene. Not long after. The dark goddess Sylvia has been sealed to the more than 1,000 levels of space in the Tower of Eternity. It is not only the intelligence of the Tower of Eternity that is directly affected, but also the Lich Lord, the Poison King, and the Spider Goddess in this part of the space world. Among them, the Lich Lord climbed the highest. It has entered the space of more than 1,900 floors. I am meditating on the profound meaning of the laws released by the Tower of Eternity. The result was very sudden, and all the origins and secrets of the laws disappeared. This directly caused the Lich Lord to wake up from his meditation. What's the situation? The Lich Lord looked shocked. Don't understand why such an accident happened. Just at this time, its spiritual mind sensed the anomalies in this space world. In the world, all energy seems to have stopped. The entire space world became dead silent, and even the wind blowing disappeared. What is that? In the spiritual perception of the Lich Lord, it saw a huge blood-red war flag planted in the center of this space world. The power released by the battle flag imprisoned everything in the space world. At the same time, the Lich Lord also felt that he was in a quagmire and found it difficult to move. It's also a feeling of being imprisoned. And the power of imprisonment is getting stronger and stronger. The source is the bloody battle flag, which is sealing the power of the Tower of Eternity. Intuition told the Lich Lord that something big was going to happen. Whether it is to help the Tower of Eternity get rid of the imprisonment seal, or to get itself out of the quagmire, it must destroy the blood-red battle flag. Thinking of this, the Lich Lord immediately prepared to take action. However, it soon discovered that it was not easy to reach the location of the blood-red battle flag. Because the space world around it has all been frozen. It must first destroy the surrounding space world before it can get close to the bloody battle flag. Another problem arises here, that is, all space worlds are created by the Tower of Eternity and contain the original power of this super artifact. The bloody battle flag can seal these space worlds. But it is difficult for the Lich Monarch to destroy these space worlds. Damn it. Although I don't know what happened and where the bloody battle flag came from. But my intuition tells me that if I don't leave here quickly, I will be in big trouble. As he thought, the Lich Lord quickly released his thoughts to communicate with the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity. Don't worry about anything else, let's put it out first. It doesn't want to be sealed along with those space worlds. However, no matter how the Lich Lord called, the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity ignored it. In other layers of space, the Spider Goddess and the Poison King, who are also trapped, are also trying their best to communicate with the wisdom of the Tower of Eternity. The result was the same, they also received no response. The reason is very simple. The wisdom of the Tower of Eternity can't even take care of itself now. How can it have time to deal with the supreme gods of their evil camp? Another point is that the spiritual wisdom of the Tower of Eternity is also very narrow-minded. It felt that if it weren't for the fact that the Lich Lord and the others wanted to enter the Tower of Eternity to practice, it would have been impossible for the Dark Goddess Sylvia, who harbored evil intentions, to enter. Even if it has the ability, it will not release the Lich Lord and others. In its view, if it wants to die, everyone must die together. Of course, the probability of its demise is still very low. Because even if in the end, the Tower of Eternity really falls into the hands of the Angel Clan and the Holy and Light Camp, it is unlikely that those archangels and the Supreme Goddess will destroy its intelligence. As for the Lich Lord and others, they don't know what the outcome will be. It doesn't want to pay attention either. The battlefield of all realms. In the territory of the Wolf Clan, Lin Yu summoned 5 18-winged archangels and a group of supreme goddesses in the central temple. Dozens of figures stood in the hall. It's like 100 flowers blooming. All of them are breathtakingly beautiful. Lin Yu's eyes were dizzy. He even secretly thought that if he could communicate with all the dozens of goddesses present, plus the 5 18-winged archangels, he might be able to grasp the origin of the 3,000 laws of Zochan right away. The trinity of the goddess of curse, fate, and luck also arrived. Among them, the laws of cause and effect and the laws of creation mastered by the goddess of curse and the goddess of luck are also among the top mysteries of law. If Lin Yu could discuss and communicate with them, it would be easy to master them. The only thing that is missing. Among the goddesses stood Gladstone, the supreme god of the beast tribe in the form of a beast. Its presence is like a stain. Let this beautiful picture become no longer so perfect. At this moment, Gladstone, who had an expression of reverence on his face, didn't know that he should be grateful that the Great Lord of Holy Light did not have obsessive-compulsive disorder, otherwise he would have let him stay outside the temple. Praise you, Great Lord of Holy Light. May the Holy Light always be there, and may the Lord be eternal. 5 18-winged archangels took the lead in standing up. He saluted Lin Yu, who was sitting on the throne of the temple, with great respect and enthusiasm. At this time, they can be said to be both excited and excited. After all, after tens of millions of years, they finally met their creator. Chapter 608: The Creator's Aesthetics. But, while excited and exciting, there was obvious astonishment in the eyes of the 5 18-winged archangels. Even the fallen archangel Quinliza, who is as tall as a titan and exudes an aura of violence, is the same. The root cause. It was Angelia and Victoria who followed the Lord of Holy Light into the temple. They actually sensed the aura from the Lord of Holy Light on the two of them. This is incredible. You know, the former Lord of Holy Light was a universe-level creation. Not interested in anything other than the path to transcendence. It is not an exaggeration to describe it as having no desires and no demands. As a result, now, Angelia and Victoria actually exude the aura of the Lord of Holy Light, which makes the several 18-winged archangels present and even the supreme goddesses feel incredible. Especially for the 18-winged archangels. This reorganized their cognitive outlook. After returning, the Lord of Holy Light seemed to have become another person. The personality is no longer cold and the consciousness is no longer rigid. And it seems that there is also the intention to pass on the bloodline to heirs. This state is more inclined to truly intelligent beings. Yes, in the hearts of these 18-winged archangels, the former Lord of Holy Light was not an intelligent being, but the incarnation of creation and the ultimate will of the universe. He maintains the most primitive justice, selflessness, fraternity, and mercy. It is almost like the spirit of law of the Great Road. And now the Lord of Holy Light. It can be said that there is absolutely no feeling like that of back then. However, several 18-winged archangels did not doubt the identity of the Lord of Holy Light in front of them at all. Because they sensed the existence of super artifact origin scepter in Lin Yu's body, and also sensed the breath of the power of creation. One more thing. Lin Yu's consciousness came to the Lord's divine realm several times. Directly activated the godhood and divinity of the Lord of Holy Light that had been dusted for tens of millions of years. The combination of various factors gave them no reason to question whether Lin Yu was their Lord of Holy Light. That's a good message. The 18-winged fallen archangel Astia sent a message to Quinliza and said, "The new state of the Creator and his care for Victoria can ensure the eternal development of our fallen angel camp." Indeed, Quinliza nodded without any trace. Then he said, "If you and I can also serve the Supreme Creator, the future of our fallen angel camp will be more secure." Hear this. Astia couldn't help but glance at Quinliza's extremely burly figure. His whole body was covered with muscles like a horned dragon. The aura is violent and filled with endless murderous intent. If it weren't for the 18 angel wings behind her, she would look almost the same as a titan. What's that look in your face? Quinliza said with some dissatisfaction. I feel like you have a problem with my angel body. It's not that I have any objections. Astya said. I have also observed in the past few days and found that the Creator has several attendants. Among them are angels, elves, dragons, and even humans. Although their status is very low, they have all received special blessings from the Creator. And, without exception, their appearance, figure, and other aspects are very consistent with normal human aesthetics. So what? So, Astia said. Quinliza, my good sister. With an angelic body like yours, I'm afraid it's hard to get the favor of the Creator. How about you try to change? The aesthetic values of angels and humans are actually not very different. You can tell it from the angel's appearance. As for an angel with a burly figure, like Quinliza, it can be said that it is difficult to find it in the Lord's God realm even with a lantern. Holiness, beauty, dignity, these are synonymous with angels. Angels who don't look good may not have a chance to be born from the angel reincarnation pool. As the 18-winged fallen archangel, Quinliza also became what she is now in pursuit of ultimate power after her fall. She was also full of charm before. Quinliza was silent for a long time. Finally, she gritted her teeth and said to Astia, perhaps, the Supreme Creator will also like this one of mine. I want to persist. Astia, Christina, Quinliza, on the throne, Lin Yu asked, have the armies of your two camps been assembled? Just now, a group of 18-winged archangels have introduced themselves. This gave Lin Yu a clearer understanding of their powers. In the camp of the holy angels, Angelia is in charge of everything big and small in the Lord's domain. Christina and Margaret are in charge of the Legion of Angels of the Orthodox faction. Among them, Margaret oversees special angels. Benesta is mainly responsible for the construction and creation of buildings such as the Divine Palace, the City of Angels, and the Angel Reincarnation Pool. In the Fallen Angel camp, Victoria is in charge of the Fallen Angel Army. Quinliza controls an army of Hell Trolls, an army of Hell battleships, and more. As for Astia, she likes to do research. In general, these 7 18-winged archangels, whether holy or fallen, all perform their respective duties. In the angel clan, there was never a struggle for power. Chapter 609 What if I get rejected? To my lord. The army has been assembled in God's domain. Christina and Quinliza said in unison. Following your will, they can enter the battlefield of all realms at any time. Very good. Lin Yu nodded and said. After the Dark Goddess Sylvia's plan is successful and the Tower of Eternity is captured, the angel army will be stationed in the battlefield of all realms. As you command, the great Lord of Holy Light, the Supreme Creator. The two 18-winged archangels respectfully obeyed the order. At this time, the goddess of sun radiance, who was filled with divine light, stood up and saluted Lin Yu respectfully. Great Lord of Holy Light, our army of gods from the holy and bright camp has also been dispatched. So far, the army has captured more than 200 small and medium-sized divine realms. Conquered a large number of divine forces. If nothing else happens, in 3 more days, our army should be able to enter the Chaos God realm. In addition, after the Supreme God War in the depths of the void ends, we will seal the Chaos God realm. None of the evil divine forces here can escape. That's a good message. Lin Yu nodded slightly. Then he set his sights on the cursed goddess Cleedle and the supreme god of the alien beasts, Gladstone. There are 4 supreme gods in the Chaos God realm. They are 2 of them. As for the remaining 2, the slaughter god King Lawrence and the lord of the undead Adonis have both fallen. I saw Lin Yu signaling with his eyes. The goddess of curse and the supreme god of the alien beasts, Gladstone, immediately said, to the great Lord of Holy Light, 2 days ago, our army of gods began to attack various regional forces in the Chaos God's domain. A large number of evil gods were also captured in the process. Some of them were captured in war, and some surrendered voluntarily. They are all now imprisoned and will be handed over to the goddesses of Holy Light for purification in the future. Well done. Lin Yu praised it. Then he said, you must also speed up the attack. When the army of gods from the Holy and Light camp arrives, you will occupy the Chaos God realm in one fell swoop. Then we will focus on the Chaos God realm. Conquer other surrounding divine realms. In addition, all of you here must practice hard. Although you have all reached the realm of the supreme gods, you still need to improve your strength as much as possible. I have a hunch that we don't have much time left. Hearing Lin Yu's words, the expressions of all the 18 winged archangels and supreme goddesses present changed. They are different from the supreme gods of other camps. They know that the universe will likely start a terrible war again. If it weren't for this reason, the goddesses of the natural pantheon and the Trinity goddess of fate would not have so decisively joined Lin Yu. Olivia, the goddess of fate, quickly asked, "Great Lord of Holy Light, have you seen the future again?" Although she is the goddess of destiny and controls the river of destiny, she can still only see a very few broken scenes about the cosmic war, and they are not clear. Unlike the Lord of Holy Light, it was predicted tens of millions of years ago. However, Lin Yu shook his head and said, "I didn't see it. This is just my intuition, or a premonition. But I believe that my feeling is not wrong." Hearing this, the goddess of fate felt a little regretful. However, she did not doubt what Lin Yu said. "I believe that when you return to your peak, you will be able to have a glimpse of the future destiny of the universe. This is what I'm looking forward to too." Lin Yu can't wait to become stronger now. If it weren't for the fact that the power of creation in his body had been drained out by Angelia and Victoria, and that his comprehension of the origin of the law had gradually slowed down, he would not have ended his retreat after 7 days. And the reason why his speed in comprehending the secrets of the law has slowed down. It's because the law stone has been used up. In addition, the secrets of the laws controlled by Angelia and Victoria were basically contributed to him. Even, he has mastered all the laws and secrets contained in the divinity of the Lord of the Undead, the God King of Slaughter, and the God King of Destruction. If he now wants to quickly comprehend and master the origin of new laws, he must either discuss and communicate with other archangels and supreme goddesses, or wait for the power of creation to fight on his own. In comparison, naturally, the former is faster. For Lin Yu, the objects he especially wants to communicate with right now are the goddess of curse Cleedle and the goddess of luck Helen Green. He was very interested in the laws of cause and effect and the laws of creation of the two supreme goddesses. But the problem is, it's not easy to say this kind of thing directly. If he is rejected, will he still have the face of the Lord of Holy Light? We still have to rely on the Tower of Eternity. I heard from Angelia that the Tower of Eternity contains 3,000 laws of the universe, and the origin of each law is very complete. If you can get the Tower of Eternity, coupled with the assistance of the power of creation and my abnormal comprehension talent, I believe I will be able to complete my goals soon. Thinking of this, Lin Yu silently prayed that the goddess of darkness would not fail. It seems that Lin Yu's prayer really came true. Just at this time, the 18-winged fallen archangel Astia suddenly said, "Supreme Creator, I sense that the restriction I placed in the Sealing Heaven battle flag has been activated. This shows that the Dark Goddess has successfully entered the Tower of Eternity." And began to seal the Tower of Eternity. Chapter 610 The Seven Archangels Take Action Together. Hear this. Lin Yu's body suddenly shook. His eyes fell on Astia. When he first learned from Victoria that Astia was an angel who liked to do research, his impression of Astia was a cool angel wearing a white uniform and black thick-rimmed glasses. But I didn't expect that she was actually a little lowly. This 18-winged fallen archangel is petite and exquisite. The face is delicate and cute. It has a crisp and soft baby sound. He seems to be only about 1.5 meters tall. She is at least 1/3 shorter than Quinliza, who is also an 18-winged fallen archangel. Similar to the shape of the angel of love. The only thing that can prove her terrifying character is probably the 18 fallen angel wings behind her that are glowing with blood. Lin Yu asked, "Astia, are you sure that the heaven-sealing battle flag you created can seal the Tower of Eternity?" No matter what, the Tower of Eternity is a super artifact. And according to Astia's introduction, the Sealing Heaven battle flag is just a supreme artifact composed of 3,000 top-grade main artifact level battle flags. In terms of grade, the gap between the Sealed Heaven battle banner and the Tower of Eternity is still very large. So Lin Yu was a little worried. Astia said respectfully, "To the Supreme Creator, after the sealing battle flag was created, I have conducted millions of virtual tests. Although there have been failures, the probability is very low. In addition, the Dark Goddess Sylvia has been refining the Sealing Heaven battle flag for tens of millions of years. Greatly enhances the power of the Sealing Heaven battle flag. So I believe that the Dark Goddess will definitely succeed." That's good. Lin Yu breathed a sigh of relief and asked, "If the Dark Goddess successfully seals the Tower of Eternity, how will she bring this super artifact out of the Titan God realm?" "What's your plan?" Just like Ion said, seizing the Tower of Eternity is the initiative of the Angel Clan and the Holy and Light Camp. Even the Lord of Holy Light back then was unaware of it. After all, the Lord of Holy Light had disappeared at that time. Moreover, if the Lord of Holy Light knew about it, I am afraid he would not allow them to rob the Tower of Eternity, because this is a very rule-breaking thing for that ancient existence. Of course, Lin Yu is different. His limit is far lower than the old Lord of Holy Light. For Lin Yu, let alone such an upright robbery, even if it was a sneaky act, as long as he could get the Tower of Eternity, he would raise his hands in approval. Regardless of whether the cat is white or black, the one that can catch mice is a good cat. Astia said. To the Supreme Creator, the Titan God realm is guarded by its own spirit of world law, and there are also restrictions imposed by the Titan God. The defensive power of its world barrier is enough to easily withstand the power of the Supreme God. However, this is not difficult for us. Our 718 winged archangels can completely penetrate the world barrier of the Titan God realm. At that time, the Dark Goddess can be taken out. Back then, the 418 winged holy archangels headed by Angelia joined forces and directly entered the underworld. The underworld is also protected by the spirit of the laws of the world. But I couldn't resist it at all. Now, if the 718 winged archangels attack together, it is naturally not a big problem to break through the world barrier of the Titan God realm. In fact, if it were not for the restrictions imposed by the Titan God in the Titan God realm, there would be no need for the 718 winged archangels to dispatch together. Just like back then, 4 was enough. That's good. Lin Yu nodded. At present, it seems that all problems have been solved. All plans are as expected. Lin Yu said. In this case, then you should leave immediately and go back early. As you command, the Supreme Creator, the Great Lord of Holy Light. A group of 18 winged archangels immediately responded to the order and then withdrew from the central temple. Arriving outside the hall, Astia immediately handed a pitch-black ball of light to Victoria. Victoria's divinity and divinity are sealed in the ball of light. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Victoria couldn't wait to catch the ball of light. Astia asked doubtfully. A long time. Isn't it even less than a month? This amount of time is almost a nap time for beings like them, who are at the highest level of gods. When doing research, she sometimes stayed in seclusion for hundreds or even thousands of years. You do not understand. Victoria shook her head. For her, when Angelia regained her supreme power, she felt like her days were like years. If she had not recovered her supreme power at her peak before, how could Angelia be able to show her edge in front of the Supreme Creator and single-handedly suppress the God King of Killing and the God King of Destruction? Afterwards, she also had no chance to participate in the battle between the Holy and Light Camp and the Supreme God of the Evil God Alliance. According to her character, she would never be absent from a war of this level. It was delayed because the divine power had not been restored. Without hesitation, Victoria directly crushed the sealed ball of light, and then swallowed the divinity and divinity in it. Soon, the aura of divine power emanating from her began to surge. Chapter 611 is not about giving advice, but about communicating. Victoria's recovery was very rapid. After all, that itself is her own godhead and divinity. There will be no resistance when fused. The process was also extremely smooth. By the time the 718 winged archangels arrived in the void area where the Titan God realm was located, Victoria's divine power had already returned to its peak state. After recovery, the 12 angel wings behind Victoria also turned into 18. There are 3 pairs of actual angel wings, and 6 pairs of illusory wings. The me at my peak is back. Victoria smiled brightly and exuded an extremely terrifying aura of divine power, causing the void world within hundreds of millions of kilometers to tremble involuntarily. I saw her punch out. The void world was penetrated by her. At the same time, one-dimensional world after another was penetrated. The destructive power it displays far exceeds that of ordinary supreme gods. And even the pinnacle of the supreme gods is obviously not as good as Victoria. It can be said that Victoria's current divine power is above that of ancient god kings such as the Titan King Clovis, the Dragon God King, and the Storm Titan King. Of course, this is normal. As an 18-winged holy archangel, she was no weaker than these ancient god kings. After her fall, she became even more powerful. Furthermore, it has been practiced for tens of millions of years. Her strength is far greater than that of her in the ancient times of the Holy Demon War. For now, if she were to face the supreme demon ancestor of the Void Demon clan, she could also fight 1 against 3 like Angelia. And it is no longer difficult to kill the supreme demon ancestor. At this time, Astia suddenly said, your power seems to be stronger than when you stripped off your godhead and divinity. Could it be that you have received guidance from the Supreme Creator? As soon as these words came out, the other 18 winged archangels present all looked over. Several holy archangels, including Christina, also looked at Victoria, with envy evident in their bright golden eyes. Being able to get guidance from the Lord of Holy Light is also what they dream of. However, Victoria shook her head. She explained, "It's not about giving advice, it's about communicating." Communicate. Several 18 winged archangels all showed doubtful expressions. But not Angelia. Angelia is very familiar with the word communication. Good. Victoria doesn't hold back either. Describe the specific methods of communication to Astia, Christina, and others. After listening, several 18 winged archangels suddenly had strange expressions. I never thought this would work. So that's it. Astia said with some excitement. No wonder you and eldest sister both have the aura of the Supreme Creator. I didn't expect that you can actually obtain the power of creation given by the Supreme Creator through this method. Does this mean we can do it too? The power of creation is the exclusive original power of the Supreme Creator. The two most powerful 24 winged angels of the angel family, the holy angels of chaos, are the original creatures of the universe created by the Supreme Creator with the power of creation. The original reincarnation pool where they were born was also created by the power of creation. It can be said that the creative power of the Supreme Creator is omnipotent. And the energy level also stands at the top of the universe. Even the power of chaos cannot compare with the power of creation in terms of grade. You can try it, Victoria said. Our personality carries the origin of the power of chaos, and the creative power of the Supreme Creator is enough to break the personality that restricts the upper limit of our realm. Once the personality disintegrates and we obtain the origin of the chaotic power, we can achieve the dual evolution of bloodline and personality. Become the holy angel of chaos. Hearing this, all the 18 winged archangels were excited. It is their honor to be able to serve and communicate with the great Lord of Holy Light. And if we can break the limitations of their personalities on this basis and help them be promoted to chaos holy angels, that would be even better. The 18 winged archangel Christina immediately turned her attention to Angelia and asked, "Sister, did you get the power of chaos you used to kill the God King of Slaughter and the God King of Destruction from the personality?" Quote. Good. Angelia nodded. Then he said in a soft voice, "I have served the Lord of Holy Light for the longest time, and cracks have appeared in my personality, and the power of chaos is overflowing from it. If I continue like this, I should be able to break the shackles of the 18 winged archangels soon." Upon hearing this, Christina and others, as well as Astia and Quinliza, who are fallen archangels, all showed extremely envious expressions. Sure enough, the eldest sister is the eldest sister. No matter what they do, they are one step ahead of them. But what Victoria was thinking was that if she was the first to come to the floating island and serve the Supreme Creator, then she would be the one, about to break the shackles, now. Chapter 612 Inches Mature, Margaret. Victoria said, "In addition to my Lord's power of creation, I actually found a way to improve our strength." "Any solution?" Christina asked confused. "It has nothing to do with your holy archangel. This method of enhancement belongs only to us fallen angels." Victoria said, "That is the original power of the abyss that swallows the Void Demon clan. I discovered this when I swallowed a little demon on Blue Star. My intuition tells me, if I can swallow the abyss power of 2 or 3 supreme demon ancestors, I can basically break the shackles of my personality and be promoted to the holy angel of chaos." Hearing this, Christina and the other holy archangels were immediately disappointed. As holy angels, they are in absolute power hostility with the abyssal origin of the Void Demon clan. It is impossible for them to merge with the origin of the abyss, unless it falls. On the other hand, Astia and Quinliza, as fallen archangels, were very happy. Astia said, "I never thought that after our fall, we could actually swallow and fuse the abyssal power of the Void Demon clan. This is a great discovery and deserves in-depth study. It's normal for Astia not to know. After all, when they fell, the war between saints and demons had been over for tens of millions of years. The void demons lurking throughout the universe have basically been wiped out. The most important thing is that they have spent the years after their fall in hell, and they can't find the original power of the abyss to devour them. Naturally, it is impossible to discover this path to promotion." The burly and sturdy fallen archangel Quinliza said, "This is good news. When the void demons invade this universe again, we can kill them. Kill all the invading demons and then enter their base camp in another universe. Think about it. In the universe of the Void Demon Clan, there must be inexhaustible source power of the abyss for us to devour. By that time, the overall strength of my fallen angel camp will definitely be greatly improved. This is just what I want. Victoria agreed. Like Quinliza, she is an extreme war fanatic. It's not enough to destroy the invading Void Demon Clan, they also want to enter another universe and destroy the Void Demon Clan's lair. At this time, Angelia said, "We'll talk about the future later. What we have to do now is to bring the Tower of Eternity back to the Great Lord of Holy Light." Clear, Angelia spoke. The 18 winged archangels present immediately returned to business. Sister's words still carry a lot of weight. Even the manic fallen archangel Quinliza did not dare to offend this eldest sister. For tens of millions of years, there has never been a large-scale war between the holy and the fallen in the Lord's realm where Angelia is at the helm. At most, it is just a small number of conflicts and frictions. Although 3 of the 7 18 winged archangels fell, Angelia was really able to suppress them. But once Angelia is gone, it will be hard to say. This time Angelia declared herself a person and came to the floating island world. It only lasted about a month, and the archangels of the holy and fallen camps had already started to work. Without a fight, the fallen angels would have no chance of being summoned to the floating island. It can also be seen from this. How high is the prestige of Angelia's eldest sister? All of a sudden, all the 18 winged archangels turned their attention to a supergiant world in the distance. It is suspended beneath the void. In a stately manner. Unlike the kingdom of God, which killed the God King, it was hidden in the cracks in the void. It can be seen how confident the Titan family is. Of course, the Titans are by no means blindly arrogant. They still have brains. Once an unstoppable and powerful enemy invades, the Titans only need to activate the divine formation to move the Titan kingdom to the cracks in the void or deeper into the dark universe. Angelia, Christina asked, can your power of destiny penetrate the barriers of the Titan God realm and see the scene inside? Angelia nodded slightly and said, I have found the location of the Tower of Eternity. It was suppressed by 9 supreme gods including the Titan King Clovis. I didn't see the Dark Goddess, the Lich Lord and others. Apparently they are all in the Tower of Ion. Christina said. Clovis is smart enough to know how to suppress the Tower of Eternity as soon as possible. The 18-winged Archangel Margaret on the side said with a smile, it's useless to suppress the Tower of Eternity. Their supreme power is too far behind ours. Later, when the Dark Goddess is successful, we will work together to break through all obstacles and bring the Dark Goddess and the Tower of Eternity out together. Margaret is a graceful, 18-winged archangel with a very sexy figure. She wore a holy white dress and held the archangel's staff. Both face and figure are flawless. In addition, she also exudes a mature charm that is as mature as a melon. This kind of charm makes people want to hold her in their arms and ravage her fiercely to satisfy their desire to conquer. Of course, now is not the time to talk about this. The 7 18-winged archangels all took out their own supreme artifacts, adjusted their divine power to its peak state, and were ready to take action at any time. Chapter 613 The Problem, Lin Yu Must Solve. At the same time. In the territory of the Wolf God clan. After the 7 18-winged archangels left. Lin Yu's eyes fell on the goddess of fate, the goddess of luck, and the goddess of curse. He watched the 3 goddesses with different styles over and over again. It's like I can't get enough of it. It is hard for anyone to imagine that these 3 goddesses are actually the same person. It was only when the expressions of the other supreme goddesses in the hall became a little strange that Lin Yu coughed dryly and put away his extremely aggressive gaze. Just at this time, Olivia, the goddess of fate, said, Great Lord of Holy Light, when you get the Titan clan's super artifact, the Tower of Eternity, I believe you can easily master the 3,000 laws of the world. Lin Yu nodded slightly. He hoped so. The Tower of Eternity carries the 3,000 laws of Dzogchen. For him who aims to master the 3,000 laws, it is extremely important. It can even be said that the Tower of Eternity fits him very well. It was as if the ancient Titans knew that he would follow the path of the great perfection in the future, so they tailor-made it for him, but it was just temporarily placed in the Titan God realm. It can only be said that if the Titan God King Clovis knew what Lin Yu was thinking now, he was afraid that he would have to vomit blood directly. Swear loudly and shamelessly. After all, the Tower of Eternity is the treasure of their Titan clan. The ancient Titan clan, headed by the 12 Titans, built the Tower of Eternity to protect and pass on the Titan bloodline to future generations. Is he even remotely related to the Lord of Holy Light? It's really shameless that these can all be forcibly tied together. Lin Yu seemed to think that such an idea was too shameless, so he quickly stopped thinking about it. But no matter what, it is a fact that Ion suits him. If he really masters the 3000 laws of Zochin and becomes the master of the Tower of Eternity, then he can definitely make the Tower of Eternity shine like never before. The power exerted was even greater than when the Tower of Eternity was in the hands of those titans. I'm looking forward to this day, Lin Yu said. During the previous retreat, I seemed to see a huge ancient portal slowly opening, and countless evil creatures gathered behind the door. If this is not an illusion, but real, then I must advance to a higher level before the portal is completely opened. Olivia, the goddess of fate, said quickly, I pray for you, pray for you. May you achieve your goal and protect all kind creatures in this universe from war. Olivia knew that when Lin Yu said, promoted to a higher level, he meant detachment. Truly transcendent from the universe. This realm is higher than that of the Lord of Holy Light at his peak. However, it is obviously very difficult to transcend. Otherwise, the Lord of Holy Light tens of millions of years ago would not have suddenly disappeared on the battlefield of all realms, and would have been reborn as a mortal human being after tens of millions of years. This series of events performed by the Lord of Holy Light are all efforts to achieve transcendence. This is exactly what I hope for. Lin Yu nodded. Here, the goddess of destiny seemed to have made some kind of decision. She bit her silver teeth and said, if we can help the great Lord of Holy Light in the field of law, the three of us are willing to do whatever we do. Lin Yu glanced at the goddess of fate in surprise. He did not expect that Olivia, the goddess of fate, would actually take the initiative to mention the exchange of laws and secrets. This was beyond his expectation. He even had some doubts as to whether his extremely aggressive look just now was caught by the goddess of fate, Olivia, and then gave a glimpse into his inner world. Thinking of this, Lin Yu suddenly felt a little embarrassed. But he was thick-skinned enough and said with a smile, if you can get the full help of the three of you, that would be the best. Of course, I won't let you work in vain. I will give you a big opportunity when the time comes. I have communicated with Secretary and so many times. I had another in-depth discussion with Victoria for several days. Lin Yu had already figured out that the power of creation in his body was a bug-level sacred object. There are great benefits even to the supreme gods. The power of creation is also the great opportunity that Lin Yu is prepared to give to the three goddesses of destiny. Anyway, this kind of thing can be regenerated in his body. Used to exchange the laws of cause and effect for the goddess of curse, the laws of creation for the goddess of luck, plus those laws and secrets of the goddess of destiny that Lin Yu does not possess now. This is a very cost-effective thing. The only thing Lin Yu needs to consider is how to regenerate the power of creation in his body faster. In order to avoid the problem of exhaustion of the power of creation midway. Praise you, great Lord of Holy Light. The goddess of fate, the goddess of curse, and the goddess of luck all saluted Lin Yu respectfully. In their expressions, there was excitement and expectation. And on the breathtakingly beautiful cheeks of the goddess of luck, Helen Green, there was a blush, making her look even more soft and beautiful. As for the other supreme goddesses in the hall, they looked envious. And soon, these supreme goddesses stood up one after another, expressing that they were willing to do their best to help Lin Yu achieve the goal of perfecting the 3000 laws. The dozens of supreme goddesses present were surprisingly unanimous on this issue. Seeing this scene, Lin Yu's body suddenly trembled several times. It seems that the plan to accelerate the regeneration of the power of creation is imminent. Chapter 614 The Angry Storm Titan King. Titan Realm. Near the Tower of Ion. When a piece of news came, the faces of the 9 supreme gods, including the Titan god King Clovis, all changed drastically. This message comes from the spirit of world law in the Titan god realm. It informed the Titan god King Clovis and others that all 718 winged archangels from the angel clan had arrived near the Titan god realm. They can guess it using the soles of their feet. The arrival of the 718 winged archangels must be to attract the dark goddess Sylvia. As soon as the dark goddess Sylvia seals the Tower of Eternity, they will break through the world barrier of the Titan god realm as soon as possible and lead the dark goddess Sylvia out. This is not a good message. Damn it. The Storm Titan King was the angriest. He roared directly at the Titan god King Clovis. Clovis, look at the good deeds you have done. If the Tower of Eternity is really taken away, then you will be the sinner of our entire Titan family. He was so angry that he even stopped using the title, Your Majesty. This is because he believes that the reason why the Titan family faces the risk of the Tower of Eternity being taken away is entirely due to the fault of the Titan god King Clovis. Originally, the defenses of the Titan god realm could be said to be impregnable and impenetrable. With the protection of the spirit of the world's laws and the will of the Titan, plus the power of the super artifact Tower of Eternity, even if the 718 winged archangels of the angel family attack together, they can't even think of entering the Titan god realm. This is only possible unless the Lord of Holy Light takes action himself. But now, the Titan god King Clovis took the initiative to welcome the dark goddess Sylvia, a spy who had defected to the angel clan, into the Tower of Eternity. This directly caused the Titan god realm to lose the most powerful means of protection, the Tower of Eternity. No one can guarantee whether the spirit of world law and the will of Titan god realm can still withstand the joint attack of the 718 winged archangels. Everything is the fault of the Titan King Clovis. Do you think this is what I want to see? The Titan god King Clovis also growled with a gloomy face. If he knew that the dark goddess Sylvia had defected to the angel clan early on, how could he still let her enter the Tower of Eternity to understand the secrets of the law? It can only be said that the dark goddess Sylvia hides too deeply. For tens of millions of years, she has been waiting for the opportunity to seal the Tower of Eternity as the sixth child. Now, she was finally waiting for it. Titan King Clovis didn't think it was his fault. After all, the 12 Titans, the ancestors of their Titan clan, would probably have been deceived by the methods used by the dark goddess Sylvia. Enough. I don't want to hear this anymore. Bradley, the king of the Storm Titans, said angrily, "Hurry up and contact the Dragon God King, the ancient gods camp, or the gods allies of our Titan clan. Let all the supreme gods come over as quickly as possible." Quote, "Tell them, if we don't help us resist the 718 winged archangels of the angel clan and let them take away the Tower of Eternity, all of them will die. You still need to tell me." Titan God King Clovis said in a deep voice, "I have just sent the information. With the specific location coordinates of our Titan God realm, they can arrive within half a minute." A Titan Supreme God said, "Actually, they don't need to fight to the death with the 718 winged archangels of the angel clan. They just need to be able to delay it for a while. Let us suppress the dark goddess Sylvia, retake it, and unlock the seal of the Tower of Eternity. This crisis will be over." Good. Several other supreme gods also nodded in agreement. Their current mentality has not reached the point of anxiety or even despair. Because they have 9 supreme gods joining forces, suppressing a dark goddess Sylvia is an easy task, and it doesn't take long at all. Even if it only delays for 10 breaths, it is enough. Bradley, the king of Storm Titans, said coldly, when facing the Angel clan, "Don't be too optimistic at any time, because no one knows how many trump cards the Angel clan has." Hear this. The supreme gods of the Titan god realm present also suddenly became serious. The Angel race has existed much longer than the Titan race. In other words, when the 12 Titans ruled the battlefields of all realms and countless extraordinary worlds in the universe, the Angel family already existed. It's just that at that time, the angels did not appear in the sight of all creatures in the world. Until the ancient Titan clan disappeared. After a very long time passed, the angel family descended into the real universe. Previously, angels should have stayed in the legendary angel god realm. Therefore, the statement, "No one knows how many trump cards the angel family has," is absolutely justified. Those forces that had underestimated the angel clan often paid the heaviest price. For example, the Void Demon clan invaded this universe back then. Chapter 615 In my place, you Dragon clan have no face. Don't worry, no one will underestimate the angel family. Titan God King Clovis nodded in agreement. Upon hearing his words, Storm Titan King Bradley became so angry that he wanted to retaliate. But at this moment, the light of the Tower of Ion suddenly began to dim rapidly. The aura of divine power dissipated at a speed visible to the naked eye. Bradley, the king of Storm Titans, immediately roared, "The Tower of Eternity is close to being completely sealed, and we are ready to suppress the dark goddess Sylvia." A Titan Supreme God quickly looked at the Titan God King Clovis and asked, "Your Majesty the God King, are the Dragon God King and the others here?" Already arrived. The Titan God King Clovis stared at the Tower of Eternity, which was slowly shrinking, and said, "There are currently more than 20 supreme gods who are waiting with Angelia in the void world outside the god realm. The 18 winged archangels confront each other. Only 20 or so came. The supreme gods of the Titan god realm present all had a bad premonition. Judging from the speed at which the Supreme God travels through the void world, it can be said that he travels billions of kilometers in a single thought. With clear coordinates, the Supreme God can easily reach the Titan God realm in a short time. But only 20 or so Supreme Gods arrived. This is not good news. After all, at the Supreme Council previously led by the Titan King Clovis, more than 40 Supreme Gods gathered, even though none of the Supreme Gods of the Titans and Dragons attended the meeting. But now, including the Supreme Gods of the Dragon Clan, the total number of Supreme Gods appearing in the outside world is only more than 20. The difference in quantity is also too big. If nothing unexpected happens, those Supreme Gods who have not appeared are definitely not still on their way. They are either hiding in another void and waiting to see how the situation develops, or the 718 winged archangels from the Fearing Angel clan didn't come at all. Storm Titan King Bradley gritted his teeth and said to Titan God King Clovis, "Tell Douglas that he will have to delay 10 breaths even if he fights for his life. When we recapture the Tower of Eternity, we will use the power of super artifacts to assist them." Titan King Clovis nodded. He also passed the information to Douglas as soon as possible. Douglas is the true name of the Dragon God King. In terms of his own strength, Dragon God King Douglas is not weaker than Titan God King Clovis. All he lacks is a complete set of supreme artifacts. Although it is said that the dragons, like the Titans, are advanced intelligent races created by the Titans. However, sons can also be divided into legitimate sons and concubines. Titan is his biological son. The Dragon Clan is a little son who doesn't take any pain. Therefore, the Dragon Clan's heritage inherited from the Titans is far inferior to that of the Titan Clan. Just looking at the Tower of Eternity, a super artifact that only protects the Titan God realm, it can be seen that the Dragon Clan has a status among the 12 Titans that is neither loved by father nor loved by mother. The void world outside the Titan realm. Douglas, the Dragon God King, led more than 20 Supreme Gods, and was confronting a group of 18 winged archangels headed by Angelia. Angelia and others looked calm. On the other hand, the Dragon Clan God King and others, who had more Supreme Gods, all had solemn expressions. Some of the Supreme Gods seemed to be sweating coldly. The hand holding the supreme artifact of his life was also trembling slightly, because the pressure on them from the 718 winged archangels in front of them was really too great. Those Supreme Gods in the team who do not belong to the Ancient God System camp would not have come here at all if they did not have a reason to appear here. In their view, without high-volume suppression, it would be a complete fantasy to suppress the 718 winged archangels of the Angel Clan. Wouldn't it be nice to sit on the wall and watch like the other Supreme Gods hiding in another void? He had to run over and face the strongest aces of the Angel Clan. "You are simply looking for trouble for yourself. Your Highness Angelia." In the midst of this extremely tense atmosphere, Dragon Clan God King Douglas stood up first and said to Secretary and solemnly, "I hope you, the Angel Clan, understand that the Tower of Eternity is a legacy artifact created by the 12 Titans to protect the Titan Clan. No matter what happens, the Tower of Eternity cannot be lost. As the blood descendants of the ancient Titan Clan, we in the Dragon Clan God realm also have the obligation and responsibility to protect the Tower of Eternity from being taken away by foreigners. I hope Her Majesty Angelia can take a step back for the sake of our Dragon Clan. As for the Dark Goddess Sylvia, Clovis will release her later. The Lich Lord and others can also be handed over to His Highness." In order to protect the Tower of Eternity, the Dragon God King decisively sold the Lich Lord, the Poison King, and the Spider Goddess. This proposal was made without notifying the Titan God King Clovis in advance. But in this case, Clovis had to agree even if he disagreed. However, in the face of such sincerity, Angelia has always had an indifferent expression. She wears a crown and holds a scepter. The 18 angel wings behind him are all emitting dazzling divine light. Her temperament is noble, elegant and cool. You Dragon Clan don't have much face here. As she spoke, Angelia waved the scepter in her hand. Under the distant void, a huge void crack suddenly appeared. Immediately afterwards, incredibly huge angel city flew out from the cracks in the void. City of Holy Angels. See these super giant cities of angels. Dragon Clan God King Douglas and others suddenly changed their expressions. It's as ugly as eating a fly. Chapter 616 City of Holy Angels. As everyone knows, Angel City is the exclusive war weapon of the Angel Clan. The war power of every Angel City is extremely terrifying. Long before the Holy Demon War began, city of angels, had already made a name for itself in all realms of the universe. Later, he showed even more brilliance on the battlefield of the holy demon war. Any intelligent race that knows the existence of the angel family will definitely not forget the invincible angel army. And where there is an army of angels, there must be a city of angels. City of Angels, in addition to possessing extremely powerful war strength, is also a weapon for the angel army to travel through various extraordinary worlds in the universe. Any city of angels can achieve dimensional travel. Back then, the angel army drove the cities of angels, one after another, descended from the sky, conquered countless extraordinary worlds, and established a huge territory of faith in the vast galaxy world. Generally speaking, the city of angels is divided into 3 levels: small, medium, and large. The controller of the small angel city is the 12-winged angel. The controller of the medium-sized angel city is the 14-winged angel. The controller of the large angel city is the 16-winged archangel. Among them, small angel city and medium angel city are conventional weapons used by the angel army to conquer the extraordinary world. Only when encountering some extremely powerful extraordinary worlds, the angel army will dispatch the large angel city commanded by the 16-winged archangel. But, whether it is small, medium or large, all of them can be mass-produced. Among the angel clan, there is another type of angel city that cannot be mass-produced. That is, City of Holy Angels. City of Holy Angels, there are only 7 in the entire angel family. They belong to the 7 18-winged archangels respectively, and they are their exclusive divine cities. Each city of holy angels is built by gathering countless cosmic artifacts, using large batches of high-level craftsmen angels, and taking millions of years to build. Hundreds of millions of years ago, there were still many divine objects in the universe. Because there were so few gods at that time, many of the naturally occurring otherworldly worlds remained unexplored. But even so, the angel family suffered a lot and went through a very difficult time in order to build the 7 cities of holy angels. In this day and age, countless extraordinary worlds have been exploited and plundered. Many mythical objects have become extinct. For now, it can be said that it is almost impossible to repeat the process of building 7 cities of holy angels. Of course, none of this matters. The important thing is that it is enough to know that City of Holy Angels is the strongest war weapon of the angel clan. It is powerful enough to kill the supreme god. At this moment, accompanied by a torn void crack, towering and huge cities of holy angels flew out of the cracks. They span hundreds of millions of kilometers. The walls are so high that they feel unattainable even to the gods. When they flew out of the cracks in the void, even the dragon god King Bradley and other supreme gods felt a terrible oppression. They were even so shocked that their hearts stopped beating involuntarily. It's really scary. Even their supreme divine bodies, which are 100,000 meters or even 1 million meters high, will feel very small when facing these cities of holy angels. To put it more intuitively, the sun surrounded by the blue star is not as big as a city brick in City of Holy Angels. This shows how amazing the scale of City of Holy Angels is. In addition, in each City of Holy Angels there are also organized armies of angels, and the weakest angels among them have also reached the 6-winged level. The 6-winged adult angels are in the realm of gods. In other words, the angels who descended with these 7 cities of holy angels were all gods. As for the specific number, no one knows. All that can be seen is a vast ocean formed by armies of angels. The vastness. It is worth mentioning that among the 7 cities of holy angels that descended, 4 were completely white, while the remaining 3 were pitch black with bloody light blooming. It's obvious. Those 3 dark cities of holy angels are the 3 18-winged archangels belonging to the fallen angel camp. After following the 3 18-winged fallen archangels into hell, these 3 cities of holy angels also fallen together. There is another difference. That is, on the walls of these 3 pitch black city of holy angels, there are countless cannons that are very different from the angel clan. These giant cannons were created by the fallen archangel Astia, who combined the power of supernatural and technology. Its power is also much more powerful than the ordinary angel clan's magic cannon. The 7 cities of holy angels have just arrived. It moved to a different location and was surrounded by a group of supreme gods headed by the dragon god King Bradley. At the same time, super giant figures appeared in the sky above every holy angel city. Chapter 617 Angels, a non-kind race. These super giant figures seem illusory and illusory. There is a faint semi-physical feeling. Generally speaking, they are formed purely by the gathering of divine power. The divine power it consumes comes from the veins of divine stones stored in City of Holy Angels. Yes, it is the divine stone vein, rather than a single number of sacred stones. Even in the battlefield of all realms, the divine stone is a relatively scarce strategic material. It can restore the divine power consumed by the gods, and even help the gods break through the realm. However, it is not easy to collect the sacred stone. Because the divine stone is condensed from the original power of the spirit of the world's laws, it is scattered around the world in the form of veins, but the number is extremely rare. Basically, the discovery of every divine stone vein will trigger a large-scale divine war. However, the angel family is different. Looking at the entire battlefield of the 10,000 realms, no force camp can be as wealthy as the angel clan. In ancient times, when the angel clan swept across the universe, they looted countless divine objects from countless supernatural worlds, including a large number of divine stone veins. One more thing. The angel god realm also has its own spirit of world law. The years of its birth are older than the world law spirits of the Titan god realm and the Dragon god realm. Second only to the spirit of world law in the battlefield of all realms. This level of world law spirit can produce a large number of divine stone veins. Naturally, these divine stone veins have all been collected and stored by the angel clan. After so many years, the angel clan has accumulated an incredible amount of divine stone veins, enough to supply City of Holy Angels and other angel armies without any pressure. Let's talk about these super giant figures condensed by divine power. They exist based on the City of Holy Angels. The appearance corresponds to the 18 winged archangels who control these City of Holy Angels. From another level, they are equivalent to the incarnations of the 18 winged archangels. Controlled by the thoughts of the 18 winged archangel. Each angel city of the angel clan, in addition to being equipped with a large number of extremely destructive war weapons such as magic cannons, also possesses the most powerful means of attack. The strongest means of attack in City of Holy Angels are these super giant figures. They have power comparable to that of the supreme gods. Bradley, the dragon god king, had a sullen face. He did not expect that Angelia and others would not talk nonsense to them, nor give them a chance to delay, and summoned City of Holy Angels immediately. In fact, City of Holy Angels rarely appears on the battlefield of all realms. Even some of the supreme gods have never been seen. The 7 cities of Holy Angels came together only once, and that was during the era of the Holy Demon War. In that cosmic battle, the Angel clan also went all out. During that battle, Dragon God King Bradley had the opportunity to see the scene of 7 cities of Holy Angels bombarding the Void Demon clan army together, which shocked him extremely. Even if tens of millions of years have passed, his memory is still fresh and he has never forgotten it. Therefore, when these 7 cities of Holy Angels just flew out of the cracks in the void, he revealed their identities in one word. We're in big trouble. With the power of these 7 Holy Angel cities to suppress us, it will be difficult for us to contain Angelia and the others. Are you still thinking about this issue? A supreme god said with a trembling voice. 7 18-winged archangels, plus 7 cities of Holy Angels. If one of them fails, we will all have to deal with it here. That's not necessarily the case. Another supreme god who looked like an ancient demon ape said, although our strength is at a disadvantage, as long as we can successfully delay time and allow His Majesty the Titan God King Clovis to regain control of the Tower of Eternity, victory will belongs to us. With the powerful protection of the Tower of Eternity. I think even if we add these 7 Holy Angel cities, Angelia and the others won't be able to do anything to us. I can only say that this is the most beautiful fantasy. One of the supreme gods said with a solemn expression, if anything goes wrong, we may be killed on the spot. None of these 18-winged archangels is kind. Quote. All the supreme gods were silent. Not only are these 18-winged archangels ruthless. How about other angels in the angel family? The so-called halo labels of holiness, beauty, kindness, etc. are all fake in their opinion. Angels are only angels when facing believers of the holy light. If you are facing a heretic, the angels' methods are definitely no more merciful than those of the void demon. To put it more seriously, if these supreme gods fall here and are preserved quickly, their pantheon and even the territory of their faith will be wiped out by the angel army. Haven't you seen that deep in the void, behind the supergiant black hole, there is a vast army of angels already gathering and waiting? And just when some supreme gods are considering whether to run away, those 7 supergiant figures actually took the initiative to attack. Under the control of the 7 18-winged archangels, they flew straight out of the city of holy angels and killed the more than 20 supreme gods. Chapter 618 Dragon God King. Believe in yourself and justice. Ignore them. Contain Angelia and others with all your strength. The Dragon God King Bradley roared instantly. At the same time, golden light filled the air around him, instantly freezing the void within a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers, including the 7 super giant figures that were also temporarily imprisoned. This is the power of the supreme law of space. At the same time, it is combined with the supreme divine weapon of the Dragon God King to show its superpower. Immediately afterwards, Bradley, the God King of the Dragon Clan, used his peak divine power to open a passage to face Angelia and others. Saw this scene. The other supreme gods also took out their own divine weapons. The same goes for the few supreme gods who had the idea to run away just now. Plans cannot keep up with changes. They can't do it now if they don't want to. Without any further hesitation, more than 20 supreme gods, under the orders of Dragon God King Bradley, went straight towards Angelia and the other 18 winged archangels and killed them. The Tower of Eternity is about to be sealed. We only need to hold on for less than a minute, and Clovis can suppress the Dark Goddess. Believe in yourself and believe in justice. Victory belongs to us. Bradley, the God King of the Dragon Clan, holds a golden giant sword. While he rushed towards an 18-winged archangel. While roaring to boost morale. Bradley is now almost certain that the Lord of Holy Light does not possess the power at his peak. Otherwise, the Angel Clan would not have mobilized the 7 cities of holy angels after dispatching 7 18-winged archangels. Such a huge effort is enough to explain the problem. After all, if the power of the Lord of Holy Light is still there, a slap can break the Titan God realm into pieces. Why go to all this trouble? And this also gave rise to a new problem. That is, if he can help the Titans defend the Tower of Eternity, then the Titan God King Clovis can use the Tower of Eternity to suppress the 7 18-winged archangels, and even the entire Angel Clan. By that time, the Titan Clan and their Dragon Clan can take off directly from the spot. It is with this idea in mind. Bradley, the God King of the Dragon Clan, behaved very radically. He was even the first to kill the 7 18-winged archangels without any intention of retreating. However, the Dragon God King is not stupid either. He did not go face to face with Angelia, Christina, Victoria and other famous 18-winged archangels. The one he targeted was Benesta. The 18-winged archangel Benesta's main job is to build temples, angel cities, angel reincarnation pools and other buildings for the Angel Clan. It is similar to the craftsman angel, but it is not the main war. Relatively speaking, her strength is lower. The cunning Dragon God King left Angelia and others to the other supreme gods. However, although the Dragon God King Bradley's calculations were very loud, the reality was difficult to fulfill his wishes. Just for a moment, a figure appeared in front of him. It is the fallen Archangel Victoria. Victoria had already gone crazy during this period, and now that she had the opportunity to participate in the war, she was naturally the first to stand up without hesitation. A lizard that masters less than 100 kinds of supreme laws. I really don't know who gave you the courage to speak nonsense in front of my Angel Clan. Kai, a bloody sword light that was tens of millions of kilometers long struck directly at the Dragon God King. Wherever it passed, the void exploded into pieces. Another extremely terrifying pitch-black crack was revealed. Behind the cracks, there is a dark universe world that is completely opposite to the real universe. The Dragon God King Bradley was startled. He didn't dare to resist head-on, so he hurriedly avoided the sharp edge of the bloody sword light. This was a disaster for the group of supreme gods behind him. There were 2 supreme gods who could not avoid it and could only resist the full blow from Victoria. Poof! In an instant, the golden blood of the supreme god sprayed out. The 2 supreme gods were cut in half by the bloody sword light on the spot. The most terrifying thing is that the bloody sword light continued unabated, traveled hundreds of millions of kilometers, and directly shattered the space cage where 7 super giant figures were frozen. Bradley. Victoria's figure flashed. His fallen angel body instantly expanded countless times, reaching a height of 1 million meters. She looked down at the Dragon God King Bradley with a sneer, and said sarcastically, "You are still as timid as before. I think you dragons should not be called giant dragons in the future, just call them 4-legged lizards." Quote. Lizards look very similar to dragons. The biggest difference is that lizards have no wings. As a high-level intelligent race, dragons are described as low-level intelligent creatures, lizards. This is simply naked ridicule and bottomless blasphemy. Sure enough, the dragon god King Bradley ran away on the spot. He returns directly to his true form. A golden dragon that is 1 million meters long. Then he opened his huge mouth and bit Victoria. Naturally, Victoria was not afraid, and faced him with the sword of the fallen angel filled with blood. Soon, a peak and supreme battle broke out. 30 seconds. Angelia stretched out 3 slender white fingers. The other 18 winged archangels immediately understood. Then, like a tiger entering a flock of sheep, it killed the supreme gods who rushed over. At the same time, the 7 super giant figures also descended on the battlefield, surrounding a group of supreme gods. A moment later, there was a shrill scream. The 2 supreme gods who had been cut in half by Victoria's sword had reassembled their divine bodies, but they were soon destroyed in the battle. They were extremely unlucky. At the same time, in an unknown void, a figure slowly emerged and said to himself, "It's almost time." Chapter 619. Stop fighting, I surrender. Under the dim void. Chaos oscillates and time and space collapse. Countless pitch-black cracks appeared on the battlefield. It was an abyss of void cut open by the supreme power, leading directly to the deepest dark universe. Between the void and the dark universe world, countless dimensional worlds were destroyed by the supreme gods on the battlefield. It is unknown how many living beings were wiped out at this moment. This is just the aftermath of the battle. In other words, it is the overflow of supreme power. There was no direct attack at all. If it were a frontal attack, even more voids and dimensional worlds would be destroyed. The dimensional world is a derivative of the real universe. Some of them appear between reality and the void, while others are behind the void and at the junction with the dark universe. Most of the dimensional world is desolate and dead. But there are also many dimensional worlds in which real intelligent beings live. In fact, the location of the world floating island is in the dimensional world. Most of the troops summoned by Lord Professionals are also summoned from the dimensional world. Therefore, the floating island of 10,000 realms cannot be seen in the real world. The Blue Star countries have sent a large number of aircraft to the outer lands, but they have not been able to find the floating island. Stop. Suddenly, there was a roar and roar on the battlefield. It was a supreme god whose body reached over 1.5 million meters, and his entire body seemed to be made of metal. Strangely, his head is a huge fireball. Like a star that shines brightly. He comes from a very rare race in the universe and is a metal life form. His area of expertise is defense, and his major in the supreme law is defense and strength. Although this supreme god's divine power has not reached its peak state, his actual combat power is not much worse than that of the peak supreme god. At this moment, he was roaring at a super giant figure, hoping for a temporary truce. The reason is simple, he can't do it. In the battle of just a few breaths, his supreme divine body had been chopped into pieces by the super giant figure at least 7 times. Although it can be reorganized successfully every time, the consumption of the source of divine power is also very large. He clearly realized that if he continued like this, he would definitely fall here and be killed by an incarnation of divine power controlled by his mind. This death is too frustrating. Therefore, he wanted to make a truce and withdraw from this war. Originally, he did not belong to the supreme god of the ancient divine system. The reason why he appears here is because Douglas, the dragon god king, promised to compensate him for some divine metals that have long been extinct in the universe after the war. His race relies on devouring metal to evolve its divine body. The rarer and higher the grade of the swallowed metal material, the greater the chance of the divine body evolving. He ultimately failed to resist the temptation. But now, he regretted it. However, his roars and roars were not able to stop the super giant Tao figure. It didn't even stop for a moment and came to kill again. This super giant figure is about 1 million meters high. The appearance is exactly the same as the 18-winged fallen archangel Quinliza, and she is also controlled by Quinlis's thoughts. Under its crazy attack, just a moment later, the supreme god from the Metal Life clan was once again beaten to death. Even his star-like head was chopped off. It turned into countless golden flames scattered on the battlefield. These golden flames were extremely powerful, directly igniting the void and even the dimensional worlds behind them, and quickly burned them into nothingness. For the creatures living in those dimensional worlds, this is tantamount to a doomsday disaster. Fortunately, they didn't feel much, because it only takes a moment for them to go from birth to death. The world is destroyed in the same instant. Stop fighting, I surrender. After reorganizing the divine body again, the supreme god became weaker and more frightened. He retreated again and again. He completely lost the courage to stand up to that giant figure. At the beginning of the battle, he never thought that he would not be an opponent of an incarnation of divine power. The 718-winged archangels of the angel clan are very powerful. He knew this very well. However, it was incredible to him that an incarnation of divine power projected from City of Holy Angels was so powerful. Just at this time, a streak of blood traveled through time and space in an instant. The power of bloodlight was so powerful that it pierced all the supreme law defenses of the supreme God in an instant, and then pierced his supreme artifact and supreme divine body. Finally, it was directly inserted into his godhead. He couldn't help but let out a scream of pain. The scariest thing is, visible to the naked eye, his supreme divine body was rapidly drying up. Even the origin of the soul is dissipating rapidly. He is being devoured. How can it be? He screamed in horror, grabbing the bloody divine sword that pierced his godhead with both hands, but found it difficult to shake and unable to pull it out at all. He immediately wanted to disintegrate his divine body and escape from the blood sword. However, his supreme divine body was also imprisoned. In just a moment, he turned into a corpse that was completely swallowed up with all its origins amidst the screams and despair. A supreme god has fallen. Chapter 620 Astia's Battle. Is this the original power of the supreme god? It's really huge. After devouring it, my divine power and soul have greatly improved. Compared to before, my strength is also stronger. The speaker is the true form of the 18-winged fallen archangel Quinliza. After her incarnation, the supergiant figure swallowed the supreme god. She transferred all the original power she harvested to her body. At that moment, her divine power surged a lot. Quinliza said to herself, with the help of this original power, I can at least understand the secrets of the 10 supreme laws, thereby achieving a true improvement in strength. Unfortunately, I didn't notice any abnormality in the position. Victoria had previously told that she just swallowed the abyssal power of a little devil on Blue Star, and then she felt that her personality was shaken. Now, she has swallowed the origin of a supreme god. But there was no movement in the personality. It can be seen that only the original power of the abyss that devoured the void demons could help them, the fallen angels, achieve a breakthrough in personality and evolution at the bloodline level. As for the creatures that devour this universe, they can only increase their strength. Of course, if there are a large number of supreme gods for her to devour, it is not impossible for her personality to be broken. It's just that there are many sources of supreme gods required. In comparison, devouring the abyss origin of the void demons is more like taking a shortcut. In addition, communicating with the Supreme Creator is also a shortcut. And it's faster, simpler and more direct. Sister Angelia. On the other side, Astia, who looked like a dark-style little Lolita, looked at Secretary and who was standing outside the battlefield and asked, Quinliza killed a supreme god, do you need to kill him completely? Kill. Deities are difficult to kill outright. This is a well-known thing. Especially the supreme god. Without special means or strong enough power, it is basically impossible to completely kill the supreme god. Take the supreme god who was killed just now. Now he is just being killed. The incarnation was not affected at all. He can also use his incarnation to achieve another kind of resurrection and rebirth. Just like the supreme god of the evil gods alliance, the Poison King. The reason Astia calls Angelia is because Angelia possesses a special method that can completely kill the supreme god, using the power of the supreme law of destiny to kill the true spirit entrusted in the river of destiny. As long as Angelia takes action, there will be no chance of the supreme god being resurrected. In fact, all traces of him will disappear from this universe. His tribesmen, believers, and other creatures related to him, if they do not have the power of the strongest level, they will directly forget him and never remember that he is still there. This is the fate of being cut off. No need. However, Secretary and shook his head. It seems that they are not prepared to kill them all, or that they have other plans. Seeing this, Astia said nothing more. Focus on fighting your opponent. It can be seen that Astia's fighting style is obviously different from other 18-winged archangels. Even the fallen angel armor she wore had a completely different style. Mixed with the style of scientific and technological civilization. After entering combat mode, Astia's fallen angel armor turned directly into a humanoid mecha, which not only protected every part of her body, but also had several rows of cannon barrels protruding from her shoulders. The 18 fallen angel wings behind her were also covered by mechas. It turned into metal mechanical wings. The whole body is black and gold, exuding a cold metallic luster. On her wings, not only are there a large number of cannon muzzles, but the metal wings are also very sharp. Not to mention the void, even the body of the supreme god can be cut open. At this moment, Astia suddenly unfolded the metal fallen angel wings behind her, and then streaks of blood shot out from the muzzles densely packed on the edges of the wings. These bloodlights are a combination of the supreme gods and the highest technological energy. Incredibly powerful. The supreme god who fought against Astia came from the dragon god realm. The main body is a diamond dragon with a body length of more than 1.2 million meters. As we all know, the diamond dragon's defense power is very amazing, surpassing most other dragons of the same level. What's more, this diamond dragon has reached the level of the supreme god. I have been practicing for countless thousands of years. Its diamond dragon body has long been refined to an extremely terrifying level and can be said to be indestructible. Even if the largest star in the universe explodes at close range, there is no way to damage one of its dragon scales. However, when the dense blood light hit the diamond dragon, it was like hitting a piece of tofu, easily penetrating its supreme dragon body. Immediately afterwards, another black aurora appeared, rotating crazily around the supreme god. And soon, this black aurora turned into a black storm. In just a moment, the diamond dragon at the supreme god level was crushed to pieces amidst the screams. When the storm stops, Astia's petite figure like a little lily also appeared. At this time, the metal fallen angel wings behind her were already stained with golden dragon blood. And her were already stained with